Close your eyes for a second and picture this. The stadium hums, the crowd's volume is a wave you can feel in your chest. And instead of the young face everyone's been waiting on, the man under center is someone who's already lived and lost and learned on this very stage. Carson Wentz walks to the huddle like a guy who knows exactly what to do with second chances. That's the image the Vikings handed fans this week. J.J. McCarthy out, Wentz in, and suddenly the season's script flips from a rookie's rehearsal to a veteran's audition. Only this time, the stakes feel different. This isn't nostalgia, it's necessity. Let's be honest, the move wasn't a shock. Teams keep veterans around for this exact moment, the insurance policy that becomes the plan. But the heat in the room now comes from what this switch means for identity, for swagger, and for how Minnesota will play its football. There are two ways this goes. Either Wentz steadies the ship and the Vikings find the rhythm they've been chasing, or his arrival crystallizes the questions everyone's had about the franchise's long game. Either way, it will be revealing. Carson Wentz is an imperfect prospector of redemption. He's had seasons that looked like an MVP trajectory and nights that felt like a cautionary tale. What he brings now is experience. How to hold a huddle, how to calm a room, how to win the small fights inside a game, third and short execution, clock management, protecting the ball. He won't reinvigorate every facet of the offense overnight, but he can simplify the chaos. That's the arc a lot of teams want when a young QB isn't ready yet. Turn down the tempo, emphasize high percentage throws, ask your playmakers to win contested catches, and let the running game and defense shoulder the heavy lifting. In short, make each play count, not each highlight reel. For Wentz to work, the Vikings need to commit to a stewardship-style game plan. That means more easy completions early, quick outs, screens, tight window slants, and play action that lets receivers work after the catch. It means leaning on Justin Jefferson, not just for explosive plays, but as a security blanket, schemed separation, designed releases, and opportunities to reset the chains. It also means using TJ Hawkinson as a safety valve, high percentage targets in the middle that sustain drives and keep the chains moving. When a team with an offensive line that can sustain blocks gives a veteran that kind of simplified palette, it becomes a lot easier to quiet the panic. There's a psychological edge here too. Wentz has been in playoff atmospheres before. He knows how the mental weather changes when the fourth quarter arrives. He understands the weight of expectation and the quiet art of lowering it, talking to teammates, deflecting pressure, keeping the noise compartmentalized. That alone is worth something. A rookie can be brilliant, but brilliance under pressure has a learning curve. The veteran's advantage is often invisible until you need it, at which point it matters a lot. But let's not sugarcoat the risks. Wentz has given teams reasons to be wary. Turnovers in key moments, inconsistency in the deep game, and a style that sometimes erodes when protection collapses. The Vikings must shelter him from those vulnerabilities. That means protecting the edges better, leaning on the run to sap pass rushers' energy, and prioritizing checkdowns over hero ball when the pocket shrinks. If the line holds and the quick game operates, he'll be fine. If not, the scoreboard will be less forgiving. Tactically, Minnesota's smartest move is to treat Week 3 like playoff football. The opponent matters less than the methodology. Slow the opponent's momentum, control the clock, and force the other team to make mistakes. Run the ball between the tackles, use play action off a couple early, and then introduce Jefferson on intermediate routes designed to exploit single coverage. When the defense overcommits to stopping the run, carve out a few shots downfield, high leverage attempts that keep defenses honest without turning into a must-make on every snap. Defensively, the Vikings have to be the ballast. If the defense can bend and not break, limit big plays, win third down situations, and finish drives with stops, the offense only needs to be efficient, not spectacular. That reduces pressure on Wentz and plays into the classic Minnesota blueprint. Defense sets tone, offense grinds out points. Special teams matter here too. Field position will be a currency if two offenses are conservative and deliberate. Inside the locker room, the cultural effect matters more than the box score. Players who are learning to trust a rookie now have to recalibrate. That can be destabilizing or it can be galvanizing. The best coaches understand how to turn a pivot into a rallying cry. Kevin O'Connell's job is to ensure the narrative is, Next man up and not we lost our future. He needs to give Wentz a simple, coherent voice and give the locker room a clear identity. This team will manage games like professionals and let the results speak. There's also the broader league context to consider. We've seen the rehabbed veteran storyline work time and again. Quarterbacks who find greener grass with a reset and then use it as leverage to secure bigger contracts or prolonged careers. It's happened for a reason. Some QBs just need the right system, the right protection, and the right expectations. The Vikings could be the latest to reap that pattern. Or, similarly, this could be the moment a rookie's development stalls and the franchise faces hard choices about patience versus urgency. Either outcome tells you something about the philosophy at the front office level. On a personal level, this is a human story too. Wentz is not just a football player, he's someone with a past that includes peaks and valleys. The media will parse every throw for redemptive signs, but what matters more is the quiet accumulation of good choices. Protect the ball, manage the clock, rally the huddle. Those are the things that win games you look back on in January. So, what do you watch for on Sunday? First, the turnovers. If the Vikings avoid giving the ball away, they give themselves a chance in any environment. Second, third down conversions, sustained drives, and the pressure dissipates. Third, how the run game complements the passing scheme. A team that runs early opens the window for play action, and that will keep defenses honest. If those three boxes are checked, Minnesota has a path to victory, regardless of the opponent's name. And if the plan works, the narrative pivots from emergency management to strategic flexibility. The Vikings become the team that can win different ways, that can pivot without panic, and that can protect a rookie future while leveraging veteran present. If it fails, the questions will come fast. Was the signing a stopgap that masked larger roster problems? Did the team deny a young quarterback valuable reps? Those are fair conversations, but they're downstream from what must happen now. Play smart, protect the ball, and let the team's best players make plays. In the end, football isn't just a list of plays. It's a dozen tiny decisions that compound into wins or losses. The Vikings gave themselves a different set of choices by putting Carson Wentz under center. That doesn't guarantee triumph, but it gives them the kind of stability that can turn a season's anxiety into an organized push forward. For fans, the advice is simple. Root for rhythm, not romance. Trust the process if it's working, but demand accountability when it's not. Give Wentz the short throws, the protection, and the space to breathe. Let the defense do its work. If the Vikings can stitch those elements together, this surprise chapter can feel less like an accident and more like an intentional play to keep a promising season alive. The Minnesota Vikings confirmed what many expected. J.J. McCarthy will be sidelined for Week 3 with a high ankle sprain, and Carson Wentz will get the start Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals. McCarthy's absence levels what had looked like an odd advantage for Minnesota. Cincinnati was already without Joe Burrow after Burrow was ruled out with a toe injury, and turns the matchup into a true measuring stick for both teams' depth. The Vikings acted quickly after the injury, adding veteran Desmond Ridder to the active roster earlier in the week to supplement quarterback options. But Wentz is the likeliest Week 3 starter thanks to his familiarity with the playbook and veteran presence. Wentz's arrival in Minnesota came late in training camp after the Vikings traded Sam Howell, and at the time, some questioned whether the team had reached for a stopgap. Now he gets a chance to show the kind of stability and leadership that has helped other veteran quarterbacks revive careers in favorable systems. There is precedent in Minnesota for backup quarterbacks stepping into bigger roles and thriving, from Case Keenum's unexpected run to the NFC Championship to other reclamation stories around the league, and Wentz will try to follow that path. Still, the pick-your-poison nature of this situation is clear. Wentz has flashes of high-level play, but also a history of inconsistency and injuries. The Bengals, meanwhile, will be adjusting without Burrow and could hand the ball to a backup who's already shown he can manage the game. For the Vikings, the coaching staff's task is straightforward. Simplify the offense where needed, protect the quarterback, and lean on the run game and play action to keep defenses honest. What this stretch will reveal is twofold. Whether Wentz can stabilize the Vikings offense and whether Minnesota's front office made the right decision adding veteran options rather than leaning entirely on youth. If